in fashion files, you know you drive me wild. I want you to walk straight pose, you know your style is gold. I want you to walk straight pose, you know your style is gold. I want you to walk straight pose, you know your style is gold. Catch me if you can, let's dance to the runway. We can take these raps all the way to
Welcome back to Fashion Files with Karis Reneé. I'm your host, Karis Reneé, and I'm so happy to have y'all here with us today. We have another guest, and this is my girl. I have known her for, I don't know if I want to tell y'all our age.
5 years.
Let's just say a long time. About 2 decades now. But you know what I mean?
Supposed to say 5
It's okay, because they're like, don't crack. You just don't know. Anyways, her name is Samantha Everette. I get to call her Mantha, but y'all cannot.
The only person in the world, in the whole wide world, that can call me Mantha. My aunt would be jealous because she's been trying since birth, and I could. I don't know
special.
why.
I don't know.
Special.
I've been calling her that since we met, and she allows it, and so I keep. But don't you call her that? So her name is Samantha. So y'all have already heard her a little bit, but go ahead and say hey to the people and tell them who you are.
See, now I'm being that person because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I know you're supposed to be quiet until the person introduces you, and I'm just talking. I'm just interrupting your whole introduction. Like I have no etiquette, no couth, none of it. Just.
You're fine. Well, now it's your time to shine. So tell the people, hey.
Right now? I already warned her that I'm going to cut up this whole time. I'm sorry, y'all. Hello, I'm Samantha Everette.
Okay, and so today we are going to be getting into all things photography, but I'm sure, of course, as y'all know, we will tap into some other things, but I wanted to talk to her specifically because that is what she is all about right now, is photography. She, of course, is a creative, so she is a multi-hyphenate, as we all are. So we're probably getting into some of those other things because I know some other things that she has had a chance to tap into, and I definitely want to talk about those as well. But right now, the focus is photography. So Samantha, let's jump right in because I don't have to do an icebreaker with you because I already know you. So let's jump right in and tell us, how did you even get into doing photography?
So I was let go from my job in 2018, 18. Oh, that is spicy. Hold on, y'all. It's delicious.
She just tried so chai, y'all.
It's delicious, but it caught me a little bit. Got let go. I worked for Vince Camuto. Rest in peace, Uncle Vinny. He passed away, and they sold the company to a company I will not mention because was out here in the world, not knowing what I was going to do. I took my severance, and I was like, I'm going to travel the world. And I had my camera with me. Yep, I had just purchased my first, official camera. I'd already started blogging because right before I got let go, I was living in China for a year and a half. And so I was taking pictures there all over Asia. And then I was like, I kind of like this. I'm going to keep doing this. And then I was taking pictures while I was traveling, mostly of myself being fabulous wherever I went.
Yes.
And then also other people, and then landscapes and the architecture and all that, mostly people. And then I got sick. And my friend I was posting some throwbacks from Brazil. So I was in Rio when I decided to come home. And he was like, when were you in Brazil? I was like, you don't remember? I called you from the airport and was like, hey, get me home. I need a flight. And you were like, I'm at the doctor's office. I was like, lead a doctor. Go get on the computers, go into delta.com in your employee portal and get me a flight home.
Not the buddy pass.
Listen, it wasn't a buddy pass, but it definitely was a deep, deep discount to get a ticket in 15 minutes from another country.
Yeah.
And then I got stuck here during the pandemic, and I was talking with one of my mentors that I love to life, and I was like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I can't travel no more. I don't want to, work in the footwear industry anymore. And he was like, why don't you just take pictures of other people, stupid? He literally threw the stupid in there. That just hit it home. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, let me do that. And then my first photo shoot was $200. Shout out to OMG Lemonade. It's a local brand. Okay. Yes, they are my first paying client. I love them. Love Melita. Love Layla. Love them. And then it just it kept going, and I got my first show, and I've had 11 or 12 exhibitions in the last couple of years, which is insane.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so let's take it back a little bit because you already hit on where you knew I was going to go anyways. So Samantha started in footwear design, okay? So we've known each other since college. And so that's kind of, was that your first job after college?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I went straight in. I got super blessed.
Yeah, that is a blessing. So as she said, she previously designed for Vince Camuto. So kind of talk to us about that, because I know you specifically said, like, of course you got laid off, but you were like, you didn't want to go back into that. And I know we talked about that before when we reconnected and how, you know, that whole experience. So kind of give us a little bit about what was going on during that time. Well, first of all, start with even how you even got introduced into that.
You see these? You see how big these dogs are? I'm a size 12. And these shoes actually make my feet look small, which is why I love them. But I'm a size 12, and growing up, it was impossible to find shoes. I would have to go to Payless. One, for economical reasons. You know, single mama doing the best she could.
Yes. Shout out to Payless, because Payless
held us down.
It really did.
It has all my church shoes, Payless.
For sure.
But I wanted to, when I got older, I knew I wanted to be able to just go into a regular store and buy cute shoes, which I knew wasn't a reality from trying to do it at the beginning of the school year or whatever it was. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make shoes. Since nobody want to make them for me, I'm just going to make them.
Yeah.
The delusions that you have as a child. You don't understand the whole, what goes into actually running a company and making product and getting the product on the shelves and all that. So I went to school for design because the degree that I had directly would get you into the footwear industry, which is industrial design. If you, any footwear enthusiasts wondering how to start your career. Industrial design, went to NC State, Wolfpack, yes. Yeah, and then moved up to New York and got a job. Like, I was cold calling. I moved to New York. Actually, I had a job at Baby Fat. And I said, no, thank you.
Throwback to that, and they done resurfaced again, just like Apple Bottoms is resurfacing.
Yeah, I had the original Apple Bottoms before they changed them to fit everybody else. I was so tight when they were like, oh, they don't fit. They're not supposed to fit everybody. Right. They're supposed to fit the people.
The curvy girls that got
Apple Bottoms.
Absolutely.
I had the original Apple on the butt and everything, but yeah, I just got, and during that time too, that was the recession, so I got super lucky to get.
So you started at Baby Fat, and then that
I
was
never went.
Okay.
I interviewed. I got accepted. I didn't even really have to interview. I just went and met them. I already had the job from my mentor. Shout out to Marshall. He was my mentor in college, and he worked for Fry Boots, Baby Fat, Ariat, Lucchese, like.
Okay.
Yeah, he was that dude, and he was fine. But
not
he
crushing on your mentor.
Listen, I sought that mentor out for more than one reason. I was young, but I was not dumb. No, he was just my mentor. Who was not that type of. I don't want to get that man in trouble. He was just my mentor. And I worked for him in his design. He moved his design office to North Carolina, and I worked for him. But then he was just like, you cannot stay. I was like, but I don't want to leave my boyfriend. You know, he was, I don't want to leave my boyfriend. I don't want to leave North Carolina. Yeah. And he was just like, get your ass to New York. But I'm going to give you a job.
Even the fact that you had the opportunity, because you said he moved his design business here.
That was
because
kismet.
That does not happen.
And I saw him on a magazine, on the NC State Alumni magazine. And it was just like, who is this fine man? And I asked the dean of students, and she was like, oh, you could probably get him to talk to the students. I happen to be the president of the African American Design Student Association. Mouthful. And he agreed. And then I was like, can you do a portfolio review? He agreed. And I was like, can you hire me?
I know that's
and
right.
He agreed. And I was just like, yes. Yeah.
No, that is amazing, because it's so much I've talked about. Shot. Yeah, for sure, especially in this industry. But not even just that, it's so much harder for us because we're not the New Yorks, we're not the LA, we're not Atlanta. You know what I mean? So not to be that main city like that, the opportunities are far and few in between. And so you really have to grab them when you get them. But the fact that you were able to have that opportunity before you then picked up to move to New York is amazing.
Yeah, and when I went to New York, I was actually, Before I moved to New York, I was at Coach for internship, but I had already interned for Guy. And when I got to Coach, I was like, I've been doing tech packs. I wasn't talking directly to the factories, but I was doing everything except talking to the factory. And Coach had me doing they had me photocopying basically for a whole summer. And I was just like, I was the worst intern. I had the worst attitude. I was just like, this is stupid. I used to be the head of the interns. I signed people's timesheets and I was doing tech packs. And I was like, that's the worst thing you can do as an intern, by the way. Just shut up and do what they say and act like it's the best job ever, even if you know they're on some BS. Like, I was the annoying intern that nobody wanted to be around, but it's because Guy had spoiled me with too much responsibility and knowledge. But that in turn did help me when I finally got into the industry, because when they were telling me about different technical things and how to do things, I was like, oh yeah, I actually already know that. Now I just get to learn how you do it, but I'm not sitting there like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. He definitely prepared you. Okay, so then talk a little bit about your time at Vince and what you were doing there.
Vince was amazing as a person in a company, which is, you asked me, I don't know if you asked me or we just touched on it, like why I wouldn't go back to footwear.
Yes.
But it's because Uncle Vinny spoiled all of us. We were so spoiled. He treated us like family. It was such a good working environment. Like, there was still some shoe dog issues going on. If you've ever worked with a shoe dog, especially in New York, you're going to get cursed out. Somebody going to get called the C word. Something is going to it's just not pretty. But that is all dictated by whoever is in charge. And Vince was such a stand-up guy and well-respected guy that, like, folks in the building could only get away with so much. And so we were really taken care of. And my boss was like amazing. He doubled my salary in the first year.
Period.
Listen.
Love that.
Yes. Yeah. And he took care of me. Like, I made that man millions of dollars. So he was like,
absolutely,
you take care of me, I'm gonna take care of you. And so I just knew I wasn't gonna have that relationship anywhere else. Like, when I started in the department, we had about 8 people, and it grew to about 30, 40, 50 in the 8 years that I was there. So I was the assistant designer when I got there, moved up to designer within a year, answered to one guy, and there were 2 other designers in the department. And when I left, oh my God, I was a director. There were like 3 other directors that I had trained. And then I had like another person that worked alongside me that was my right hand, and then she ended up being VP after I was let go. So I was let go because my boss left, and then they like started cutting from the top. But yeah, she took his position, so it was her. She was there from the beginning, and then like just all these other designers and design assistants. It was great.
Yeah. Well, I did get a chance to meet Vince as well when I worked at Belk, and so I can definitely, he was amazing for sure. So yeah, definitely RIP to him.
Looking to elevate your style game? Whether it's a red carpet event, a photo shoot, or a personal wardrobe refresh, Karis Reneé is here to bring your vision to life. As a seasoned stylist and costume designer, Karis specializes in creating bold, unforgettable looks that align with your unique personality and occasion. With a deep knowledge of fashion trends and period pieces, Karis brings creativity and precision to every outfit she curates. Her clients have raved about the confidence and ease they feel working with her, and now it's your turn to experience it. Let Karis Reneé help you tell your story through style. Visit karisbattle.com to book a consultation today, because your style deserves the spotlight.
Okay, let's play a quick little game, okay? Because we're going to go ahead and jump back into photography, because, we'll get into the design thing, into the design, but I'll stay there. But that's not what we got you here for.
You know, that's my first love, so I can just...
I know, and I love that. I love that you still love it, because I didn't know that you still loved it. So I love that. Yeah. I love that the reason is not because you don't love it for that. It's because you just feel like you won't find that again, which is it's very accurate. Like I tell people all the time,
the industry's changed.
It's absolutely changed. Yeah. And people leave or stay because of environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people, not necessarily what they're doing. Okay, so let's see. We are going to do, this one is going to be about trends and techniques, okay?
Okay.
A little game. I'm going to give, it's basically a this or that photography
Okay.
edition.
Okay.
Flame fashion files, you know you drive me wild.
So, natural light or studio lighting?
Ooh. We need context, Karis.
You just got to pick one. I need to give you rapid fire.
I know. I'm sorry. That's a pass.
Oh, okay. Film or digital? Have you worked with film?
In a perfect world, film. In
Have
a
you worked
practical
with film?
world, digital. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Black and
expensive.
white or color?
Color.
Okay.
Melanin. We need color.
Yes. Candid shots or posed?
Candid.
You know what it made me think about? It made me think about your Valentine's Day shoot and your video. It was so candid, super cute.
What in my booty?
No, you sitting in the chair.
I mean, there was booty too, though.
There was a lot of booty.
My dad let me know. I saw your pictures on Facebook.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's get into some of the things that you have done with photography, because I know you said that you have done like 11 or 12 exhibits, and I was able to see one of those last year at CAM called Crowning Glory, and it was so beautiful. And so I don't know what your proudest moment is yet, but that's my proudest moment for you. And it was just super beautiful, y'all. It was celebrating the crown of Black women in our hair, and it was just amazing. One, I was just so proud of you and just excited to see your stuff on a full wall, like floor to ceiling.
11 feet tall.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
So
I think one of them was like 30 feet wide.
Yeah.
The one on the back wall was, I think, 30
So
feet
yeah,
wide.
so let's talk about that. Let's talk about like some of the things, or how did that even happen? Now, I've seen your behind the scenes or whatever, but let the people know like where that even came from. Like, I know that some of the concept you didn't even know exactly what you were gonna do, and so let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so you want to know how I came up with the shoot or how it got in the museum?
Both, actually. Let's start with how it got in the museum first, and then you can give us the details of behind the scenes with the shoot.
So I'm happy because that's the way I want. That's the order I want to
Period.
Listen it. So it's all about community. Like the same way with getting into the footwear industry was because I met a person who knew a person. Same thing with the museum. I had a mentor, and he got me my first show. Well, he didn't get me my first show, but he like made me aware of where I should apply and like what the process was. And he probably, did a little behind the scenes to the board or whatever. Yeah, I got my first show at Durham Art Guild, and then that like got eyes on me. And then I went to Art Space, and they had seen my work there. And so then I got that residency, and then my community just like ballooned from there. And I put my work into the VAE auction for, I don't know if it's their holiday party, but it's like their annual party, the VAE Museum on Fayetteville Street, downtown Raleigh. And Dr. Paul Baker, the director of CAM, saw my work and was just like, I love it. Raj, miss you, dude. He saw my work, both of them. And then they told me, and it happened.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so now talk about, kind of how it all came into fruition.
So the Art Space exhibit, that was a residency, and that residency happened. It was actually funny. Anna Lee, love her. I met her pre-pandemic and like tried to get some information in, And then pandemic happened and like everything changed. Met her again after pandemic, and I was just like, I'm interested in residency. Like, I like to talk to you. Like, I'm a photographer. And she was like, okay, cool. And I was just like, just trying to like get some kind of like hold to get, you know, her to pay attention to me. And she was just like, basically, have your people call my people, like, whatever. I was just like, okay.
Not red tape.
This lady is not feeling me. She's not checking for me. She don't know. Like, and then Clarence, and I always say Clarence's last name wrong. He is a painter, amazing painter. Hayworth. No, it's not Hayworth. Lord, I'm going to memorize your name one day, Clarence. I have your painting on my wall. And, but he's amazing painting, and he actually had a residency upstairs at Art Space, and he came downstairs at the moment that I was talking to Annalie, Community. He came downstairs, and he was like, "This is the most amazing photographer you're ever gonna meet," and she still was like, "Yeah, whatever."
Right.
And he's like, "Nah, like you should have seen her work at Durham Art Guild, blah blah blah." And then like light bulb went ding, and she was like, "Black Respite at Durham Art Guild?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she was like, "Oh, your work is amazing." And I was just like, I tried to told you, lady.
I love it.
But it was just funny to see the flip flop from like totally blowing me off. And I know she's gonna kill me if she ever listens to this. But you did blow me off, Annalie, to being excited to work with me.
But that's that persistence, you know. And like you said, building that
I had
community
nothing
to have
to lose
other people
either.
Yeah.
Like all she could do was tell me no. But then having Clarence there, and then also having, and that's another thing. It's not just community, it's also the strength of your work. If I had great community who was like, she's amazing, and they're
your
like,
work is trash.
but is she though?
Right.
Is she? Then it wouldn't have gone anywhere. But I did the work, and also had the community support.
Yeah.
So
Want exclusive fashion content? Join the Flame Society, our official Patreon, and get the tools to build a wardrobe that truly fits your style. Inside our Patreon, you'll get exclusive fashion guides and styling worksheets, the Style Personality Quiz, bonus episodes and deep fashion dives, VIP Q&As and personal styling advice, early access and behind-the-scenes content. The first 10 members will get a personal shout-out on an upcoming episode. Use the QR code or the link in the show notes to join.
I love that. Okay, so talk about the actual exhibit, because listen, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think, like, I had a favorite then, but every time I see it, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I think it is still the young lady that had the braids and seeing the braids flowing through the photo. But it was just so great, and all of the images were so beautiful.
are you asking me my favorite?
No, well, if you want to give your favorite, but I wanted you to just talk about the concept as a whole.
So I just needed to produce a body of work really fast for the residency that I was just talking about with Annalie and Art Space. And I was just like, a month before, it was like all over, and I had to get something up on the walls. I had a dream.
Wait, what?
A month.
A month?
Yeah. Crowning Glory came together in I think 3 weeks. From me having the idea to
Samantha.
Booking the models to buying the clothes to getting the lighting guy, getting the assistants.
That is wild.
I ordered everything on myself online. Went to Michael's the day before and got the beads to make the ilekes. I think that's what they're called, the protection necklaces. And shot it. It was an 11-hour shoot from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
That's typical, so I'm used to that. So,
Listen.
But the 1 month, that's also typical. I wish we had more time in the industry, but we don't.
Yeah,
everything is.
And I think that's why I was able to just
so used to it
because it didn't seem strange to me because I'm like,
But when you really hear it and think about it, because I know what it looked like, and to know that you were able to put that together that quickly.
But it's also community.
Yeah,
I happen to have the hair braiders already, and they're amazing. I love them. They love me. So they're like, yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And the model, I scouted her at a food truck on Juneteenth, like the year before, she actually was driving in. I didn't know if she was going to make it because her sister got deathly ill and was in the hospital in Tennessee. And so the day before, she's like, I'm in the hospital with my sister.
Oh my God.
And my 6-month-old. And I don't think I can make it.
And was it her baby in the shoe?
That's her baby. That's both of their babies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's why he's so handsome. He look like his mama. He's the cutest baby ever. Yeah. And so I was just talking with her and I was like, you know, you have to do what's best for you, best for your sister. But we got 8 people lined up, or it was more than that.
And you didn't have a backup?
No, have you seen you have seen her. Ain't no backup for Zaya. Like there's no backup for Zaya. Like you cannot replace her. Like she is like little Naomi. Like you can't. She's so amazing.
Yeah.
And then also I needed the baby.
Yeah. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah. I needed the little chocolate drop baby. And 6 months is the perfect age for shooting children. If you're ever photographing children, if you're ever wondering, because they are old enough to pay attention, but not old enough to want to do what they want to do.
Ooh, okay, that's good. So what other tricks and tips you got for the people that are looking to get into photography?
Don't.
What? Why would you tell them that? Why do you say don't?
Unless you got thousands of dollars.
It's all expensive, but it really is. That's when you have to really want to invest in yourself, and it's like and just know that if this is your purpose.
It's one of the most expensive. Like you gotta like.
See, I thought you was gonna say rewarding.
No, that's childbirth. No, I wish you could just like turn the cameras around and see all the gear. I could tell you how much all of this stuff costs.
Yeah, it is.
And you need it, and you need it all yourself. Mm-hmm. Like you can't. I can borrow things here and there from people, especially when it's like something really expensive. But when you have, and there's a difference between hobbyist and having your business, right?
Because like, you transitioned from that. So because you were doing it as a hobby and then you turned it into the business. So like, what are some of those call outs and you think that are the main things?
Main thing is it's a business.
Yeah.
So learn about business. Like that's one thing that I didn't play with when I started. I was like, I got my EIN. I registered my company with the state. I got a business account.
Yeah.
I pay my taxes, like all those things that it won't hurt you if you stay small, but how you start is how you end. So if you start messy, you're going to end messy. It's going to all implode and blow up in your face, and you're not going to be able to handle.
And that's always the hardest part as creatives is to figuring that part out, which is why, like, even, you know, for me, I've been doing it for quite some time, but like sometimes it's, if you aren't good at that and if you want to focus, find somebody else that is, but don't just skip over it.
Can't skip over it.
You still got to do it, even if you're not the one actually doing it. But you should still always have your hands on. Don't be not knowing what's going on in your business now. That's where you'll get a little messed up.
But that's one thing I learned from Uncle Vinny too, is like he was there every single day, every step of the way. He knew everything ins and outs. And that's another reason, like, people ask me, like, why don't you do photography? I'm like, why don't you do footwear of my own? I'm like, you have to live, eat, breathe, drink, sleep. Yeah. This, whatever you love. Yeah. Especially photography. Especially footwear. Also photography, but photography, it you can go as hard as you want or as not. Like, it's levels to it. If you don't go super hard with footwear, you're not gonna make it. Like, it's just, it is a full 24/7 obsessive type of industry in order to be successful. The people that are good at footwear are insane. Insane. Yeah.
Okay. And we actually had a footwear designer on a previous episode. Hi, Jessica. And so she's actually launching her line this spring, but she's been working, it's been 12 years in the making.
See, that 12 to be dedicated at something. 12 years just to launch. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yep. She had a soft launch and then now she's having her actual launch. So yeah. I know, right? Now I got somebody you want to go talk to because she knows the ins and outs a little
As
bit.
long as she making a size 12.
You heard that, Jessica? Okay,
But I don't hold it against her if she doesn't, because I know the difficulties and the limitations, and doing extended sizes is not easy, and it is not cost effective, which is why it doesn't exist that much.
Yeah, but I hate that though, because like even with me, like they've even stopped making my size. Like they've stopped at half sizes at 8.5. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how you just stop it including me in the sizing? In the size
I was
run?
11
It's
and a
crazy.
half narrow for the longest, so yeah.
Okay, so I want to jump to something else really fast, because I saw something recently where you assisted somebody on something. So let's talk about that, because that was kind of exciting.
That was me and Cornell. Shout out to Cornell Watson. Were exhausted for the rest of the week. We gave everything for the 7 minutes that we had her on set.
I did see that. It is
7.
definitely like that sometimes.
Do you know you
Oh my
have 7
God.
minutes? 7 minutes. Yes.
And the fact that you have to prepare so much longer for this short amount of time is even crazy. You
I
could be
had to
preparing
take
for
my
days.
shoe off, and like I was.
Okay, so tell me what we're talking about.
I was Asia Wilson before Asia Wilson came to be Asia Wilson in front of Cornell's camera, and I was assisting on that shoot for her launch of her new sneaker.
Which is in my favorite color, by the way.
I know, it's so cute. I actually really wanted it.
Yeah.
And it was my size too. And
You was
they were
like, can I take the sample?
Listen, they were like, she's getting ready to get on her private jet. She needs to take the shoe with her. And I was just like,
But the campaign looked so amazing. So tell me about that. And I know you had 7 minutes, but just like even how you even got on that, like what it was like on the shoot, just like how you feeling? Because like I said, I know that you were assistant, but still it's a big deal.
yeah. So I feel like I've said this word like 18 times, but community. Community.
If they don't get nothing else,
Community.
we're naming the episode Community.
Especially Black community.
Absolutely.
Like my community has now extended to include the whites again. That's a whole other conversation, because I was just all about just blackity black for a long, especially even corporate America.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cornell. I met Cornell. He is an amazing, amazing documentary photographer. Like, if you've seen any pictures of Kamala or Biden or God, I mean, those are the two big, like, you don't need to get any bigger than, like, especially when they come to North Carolina, like, it's probably one of his pictures.
Okay.
Like, he is a beast. He started in the pandemic, and that man is not right in the head. There's no way he should be that good so fast. Like, I know I'm good, but that man is great.
Yeah.
And I have no qualm saying it, because like he's like, give credit where credit's due. He's amazing. And he is big into the like commercial photography world and the editorial world. So he works with Anscape, who's under ESPN, like a offshoot of ESPN. All the amazing Black stuff at ESPN is under Anscape. And so they called him on a Friday and was just like, can you drive to South Carolina on Monday and shoot Asia Wilson? And so he called me and he was just like, are you free on Monday? And I was like, no, I'm modeling for a painting class that morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, I'm not going to tell you who it is. And I was like, all right, because he was texting that,
Right.
Negro.
What's going on?
Who is it? I don't want to tell you if he can't come. I can come depending on who it is.
Right.
Like, and he said who it was, and it was actually supposed to be oh God, who's the coach that just won? I'm so bad with names. I can see her face in my brain,
but I don't know the name, so I can't even help.
Dawn.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know her last name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. So he said her, and I was just like, okay, I know who that lady is. And then he said Asia Wilson. I'm sorry, Asia Wilson. I didn't know who he was, because I'm not a huge sports fan.
Yeah, me either.
But I was just like, off the strength of you telling me, like, what it is, and I was just like, I called my friend whose painting class I was gonna sit for, and I was just like, hey, so I have a chance to go shoot with ESPN and Nike with Asia Wilson and Dawn Stanley. So can I get a rain check? And she was just like, she was super gracious. She's like, you know, if it's a one in a lifetime thing. And I was like, this is one in a lifetime. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get the opportunity to photograph either. And Dawn didn't end up coming, but Asia, of course, did. And then Issa was there.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I saw. Did you post like a behind the scenes?
Because I had permission from ESPN to take BTS on my phone, but Issa Rae did not get that memo, so she was staring me down the lens of my phone like, why is your phone out? And I was just like, because I'm doing my job. I literally have video, like pictures and video of her just like staring directly into my phone. God. And I was just like, I almost died. I went to crawl under a rock. But I was like, I already checked with ESPN directly. Like the rep's right over there. He said it's cool. Like, I'm trying to get BTS for Cornell. Yeah. And then there was this, there were so many Black folks in that soundstage. It was so amazing. And in particular, there was a camera lady man. And she had this huge afro, and it was her hair, and she was like dead center. And so I was just like mesmerized, like taking like just this big old afro, because you don't see that. It's like so And then I ended up sending it to her because I was like, I'm pretty sure when we're behind the camera, we never
ever get, and like the fact that you even can get it, like you really have to have somebody there to do it because it's so hard. I'm thankful now I got Erica, but my styling shoes and all the things that I've done,
it's a whole other job to get that. And if you don't, when you try and do it yourself, it distracts you from what you're actually supposed to be doing. It takes you out of that. And then if you don't have somebody, you just... Yeah.
Okay, well, that was super inspiring. I love that. And of course, because like I said, it was pink, so when I saw it, and I have a friend, she be keeping me up to date with all the rivals and unrivaled and the all of that, WNBA, because I'm not a sports girl either. Y'all know that. And so I'd be like, okay. And so when I saw it, I knew because she had already been telling me about the people, and I was like, okay, look at my girl.
What's funny though, this is so random, but you know how like guys be saying they 6 feet and they 6'4" and all this? They be lying. Because she's 6'4", and I was like, okay, this is what 6'4" really looks like.
That is hilarious. All right, y'all. Now it's time for our sip and tea segment with Soul Chai. So go ahead and grab you a glass of tea so we can sip some tea both literally and metaphorically.
This episode of Fashion Files is brought to you by Soul Chai, the tea that's as bold and flavorful as the style we celebrate here on the show. Soul Chai is handcrafted with a blend of organic spices like ginger, cinnamon, and cardamom, creating a warm, comforting experience in every sip. Whether you're starting your day or winding down after hours of outfit planning, Soul Chai is the perfect companion. But here's what makes Soul Chai truly special. It's not just about great tea. It's about the soul behind it. Every cup supports sustainable farming and ethical sourcing. So you're not just indulging, you're making a positive impact. Ready to elevate your tea game? Use the affiliate link located in the show notes. Soul Chai, sip boldly, live beautifully. Now back to the episode.
All right, Samantha, you ready?
I'm ready.
So Samantha's gonna bring the tea today. So what was your wildest or most unexpected thing that has happened on a shoot?
So shout out to Lock and Key Boudoir.
Oh, you have done some boudoirs.
I've done some boudoir, and I had two models. And this is we're out in Holly Springs, like in the fields. And these two had never met each other. They got on like a house on fire. I was just like, so y'all ain't never, because it seems like you've like those pictures to this day are like the steamiest.
Yeah,
like
they had so much
They
chemistry.
had so much chemistry. They did end up dating for like a couple months after that shoot.
Wow.
Yeah.
They was like, well, let's just build
Let's
off of
just-
this.
Listen, there was some like jump up on it scenes, and she was like, right now, like 5 minutes ago, like, can I do it now? Can I? No.
That
Like,
is hilarious.
they were so ready. They were young and fun, and we
Yeah.
kept it professional. It
Yes.
was everything was PG, but their chemistry, and it's also like beautiful. And I also loved that she like not plus size, she was regular size, like just
Yeah.
But she had a little bit of a belly and like a normal woman body, but she was serving and he was loving.
It's because it's the confidence.
The confidence, yeah. And it was
Yeah.
just beautiful to see, like real looking
Real
people,
bodies, yeah.
real bodies, like really embracing one another.
Yeah.
And it was gorgeous. This was still one of my favorite shoots. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so, all right, y'all. So it's time for my favorite part of the episode, the style spotlight.
Flame fashion files, you know you drive me wild.
Today, of course, I'm going to feature another fellow photographer. Well, not fellow for me, but fellow for Samantha, photographer. And his name is D Blanks. If you have seen him on Instagram, he goes by Mr. D Blanks. That's MRDBLANKS. And when I tell you the photography that he also does videography, but the shoots that he comes up with, he's so creative. And he does all of these creative shoots. Like, he's done shoots with like Mimi Foss, I think like Eva, like some of the he's in Atlanta, so he got all the Atlanta baddies, you know how they do down there. And so, but the creativity that he does in his shoots, I love his eye and the things that he's been able to come up with. He also does a lot of self shoots, which I love to see photographers actually shoot themselves. So definitely check him out, and if you do, be sure to use the hashtag Fashion Files and let them know that we sent y'all. All right, so we're gonna wrap this episode up with Samantha. Again, we always just scratch the surface. I have to bring these guests back because there's so many other things that we can get
This could
into.
be 2 hours.
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. But what I want to leave the people with is, what is some advice that you can give other photographers, especially because I know one of the main things you said is don't, because of how expensive it is. So what's some advice you can give somebody who is an aspiring photographer and wanted to get like their kit started? Like what should they do?
2 things. Buy used. There's some great companies, KEH, B&H. Those are KE, like kangaroo, elephant, horse, KEH, and then B&H. So boy and hockey, whatever. I don't know that the Bravo, Charlie.
Yeah,
I don't know all
me
those.
either. I'll say whatever comes to my mind.
Right. Yeah, so buy your gear secondhand starting out. You do not need anything new. You don't have to buy the best camera. Cameras get updated so fast that the latest one is not really that much better than the generation before it.
Yeah.
So save your coins. Invest in your glass, which are your lenses, which is that thing that goes on the front of your camera. That is way more important than the actual body of your camera.
That's good.
Yeah. So if you're going to spend your money anywhere, spend it there, because you can also take that lens when you upgrade your camera. Lenses don't change that often.
Yeah.
They don't get upgraded as fast as camera bodies.
Right.
And also slow your roll with buying things. You don't need it. Like, you probably don't need it. Like, you really think you need it? I need it. I don't need the 7 peacock chairs that I own.
Because she's always building the set. They are fabulous, okay?
I don't need the 20 plants that I own.
Yeah.
But I needed it. I didn't need it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so also, what are you working on, and tell the people how they can find you? What's next for you?
Right now, I'm really trying to get into my corporate bag, my event photography.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's another thing as a photographer. It's fun to do the cute, pretty model shoots.
Yeah.
But you don't want to hire people, or you don't want to be hired by people that are spending money out of their own bank account. It is hard to get somebody to part with the money that they had to work to make. But corporate money,
That's
that
good.
they didn't have to work. They're
That's
like,
good.
oh, the budget says
You're right.
here's the money. I
That's
don't care.
good.
I didn't do anything for
Yeah.
it. It's not coming out of my bank account. I don't care. I just
Yeah.
got to get my job done the
Yeah.
same way you got to get your job done. So that's really where my focus is right now.
Okay. And how can people find you?
I am the Shooting Beauty on all platforms. Actually, not all platforms. I ain't got time for social. Instagram. I don't tick or talk. I don't tweet. I just be up on the
And
gram.
that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on. We'll probably have to have you back. I love you so much. And so, yeah, y'all, I hope y'all got something. I know y'all got something out of this episode. So until next time, stay stylish and keep that flame burning bright. Bye.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Fashion Files. We hope you found some inspiration and insight from our conversation today. Fashion is all about expression, and whether you're pushing boundaries or sticking to your signature style, remember to make it your own. Be bold, be fearless, and most of all, be you. We would appreciate it if you would rate, comment, and review the podcast. For more content, updates, behind the scenes, and style tips, follow us on our socials at I Love Flame, host Karis Reneé at Everything 24 Karis,